And that is why it is imperative that we celebrate the 269th anniversary of Julius Caesar's slutty death. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Honestly, I agree with this.
Sorry, what anniversary did you say it was?
2069.
Okay. I thought you said 269th, and I'm like, I'm fairly sure Caesar died long before that. But anyway, welcome back to the Storytime Network.
Technically, it has been at least 269 years since Caesar died.
True. It was very nice.
To be fair, would it even be that anniversary? It depends how long people have been celebrating it, I feel like.
I mean, in a few days, it will have been 2069 years since he, was killed by 60 people stabbing him 23 times somehow.
Also, no. It would be the 2068th anniversary then if it's been that many years.
No, because he was assassinated in 44 BC.
Yeah, but something happens, and then the year after is the first anniversary. The first anniversary isn't on the day that it happens. I'm being pedantic,
really,
but fuck
really
you.
Eager to celebrate. So,
welcome to the first annual Final Fantasy game.
So, last we left our heroes, Aldane, the half-elf paladin, Dairon the Genasi rogue, Seamus, the half-elf bard, and Felix, the Eladrin wizard. The four of you, along with Karen and Rua, made your way to the Monsoon Manor, with Rashin having led you. Once you arrived at the doors, Rashin left you to enter, and Karen wanted to stay outside as well because she didn't want to get involved anyway. Mostly just because it's one of them where she wouldn't want to, curb stomp the fights for you. Or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as it turns out anyway, Rua wasn't allowed in, as when you entered, it was just the four of you, with no Rua. During which, to begin with, you saw Seamus back at the original map where you first met him, with the splits and the pillars that he ended up destroying by accident.
Okay.
While speaking to Seamus, you quickly began to realize that it was down to you guys to figure out who was the correct Seamus. And you did. Then, after that, you were brought to the chamber where Rua first picked up the Moonblade. And at that point, you actually saw Rua, as he had managed to somehow break through and get in. Unfortunately for the illusion, it basically gave itself away, and therefore you figured out who the real Aldane. Then you got to the ritual room where Eben did the ritual to take Kuro's body. And there you saw Dairon and Dairon. The illusion gave itself even faster away, letting you figure out who was who. And then you were brought to the church that Maratu had taken over, where the rest of you saw Felix and Felix. And it was up to you guys to figure out who's the correct Felix. Interestingly enough, though, the actual illusion itself seemed to lack the critical information from things such as the stuff you did during the Land of the Dead, as it was not aware that Felix had been disintegrated, or that Refugule had been travelling with you. Once you figured out who the correct Felix was, you were then brought to some ruins that were surrounded by an endless expanse of water. during which you fought various foes from your past, such as the Black Knight and even Colgan at one point. After defeating the illusions, you came face to face with the god of the mist, Genbu, who congratulated Felix on his passing of the trials, and rewarded him with a artifact in the form of a bracelet.
Oh god, I forgot about those.
And was basically given an opportunity to respec. When the ritual and everything else had come to a close, you found yourselves back at the entrance of the manor, as according to Karen, you hadn't moved from the actual entrance. She mentioned also that she hasn't seen Ration, but to be fair, she also hasn't gone out of her way to find him. You went inside the manor and took the opportunity to have a rest because, you actually feel tired now since you've left the land of the dead. And yeah, so we'll say that you've awakened. At this point, Felix, you are now officially a level 11 wizard.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you see the sun shining from the windows, all of you, in each of your rooms.
From the windows to the walls.
And yeah, you're back in the land of the living.
Woo.
Each of you get a knock at your door. Once it is 8 hours past, for the sake of Dyron, Seamus, and Aldane at least. But Felix does also get a knock. When you, I assume, would awaken and get ready, you would see Rua at the entrance of the manor, like at the front door, ready to leave, as it seems like he's been waiting for you. And he's in the middle of talking to Karen at the moment. Guys?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just doing something very quickly.
I mean, the rest of you are still here.
Yeah, okay.
It's good to not be breathing on, to have to deal with all the underworld shenaniganry for a while.
Honestly, I'm just glad we're not in an immediate crisis again.
Oh, I hope that lasts more than a few days. Probably won't, though.
You had to jinx us.
We already have a crisis going on in Cordis, okay?
Karen starts to speak, saying how you should appreciate every reprieve you get. You never know when something could happen, and, well, I was going to say that you have to be in a non-stop work mode, but you already had that anyway in the Land of the Dead.
By the way, if you look at Felix, you may, or may not, I guess, notice that he is not wearing his armor, and instead of the usual, fuck ton of magic ink bottles he has strapped to him, it is just a single spell book Though he does still have his paintbrush.
Hey, Felix, what happened to all your paint?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Did you eat it?
No.
Did you feed it to Seamus?
Hey,
I thought about
I
it.
like crayons, not ink.
I know. We'll find you some nice ones, buddy.
Remember, I like the blue ones.
I know.
It tastes like blueberry.
No, the purple ones are too tart.
True.
I think it's a part of Genbu's gift, I guess. I'm not gonna be casting my magic with ink anymore.
Oh.
And,
How
well,
are you feeling otherwise?
better.
Lighter?
I mean, yeah, because I'm not wearing the armor. I have magic
That does
armor
make
now.
sense. Ooh.
Stupid question.
Imagine needing armor to fight. Couldn't be me. Like, shrugs.
Question. Who is the easier one to hit now between you and Seamus?
Oh, it's still me. It's still Seamus, easily.
Yeah, what's your armor class right now?
18.
Yeah, mine's 16, so you got me beat.
I mean, that was true even before the respec.
Yep. I think I just have a little bit more HP than you, but that's...
What's your HP?
79.
I have more than you now.
Yeah, see, now I'm the squishy one. Now I'm the real squishy
I have
one.
95 now.
Did you pick tough?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
I did too.
I mean, what
It only does
would
so
I
much
have
for me,
had
Well, to be fair,
otherwise?
You only have a +1 to your constitution, though, right, Dylan?
To my constitution, I have
Yeah.
a +2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's still quite... It's not that low for a caster, but...
I've now got a +3.
I just dumped everything into Riz.
Well, you picked all of your mental stats, really.
Yeah.
Which is completely fair. I don't blame you. But yeah, so... as the doors from the manor open, you see the sun shining in the sky. In the distance, as the manor is actually facing the island of the Ebony Imperium, you do see the mountains in the far distance, and the reminder of the past, what happened with Eben and Kuro.
Press F to pay respects.
Shut up. Yeah. Rua looks to you, Felix. Didn't Genbu say that you have a way to, like, get us to Rainwall?
He did. I don't remember what it was, though. Maybe it's just talking to Ration again?
Didn't Ration dip?
I mean, maybe not entirely.
You can literally... out of character, you can literally just check our DMs, Mel. I said it. I said the
sorry.
fucking idiot.
I've had a lot to think about.
Affectionate.
In universe and out of universe, I've had a lot to think about.
In universe, it's been like only a day, really.
And now Felix is now having to think about and remember all these new spells.
Is his intelligence better?
No, it's the same.
Okay.
The only thing that's changed is my con has gotten better and my charisma's gotten worse.
Fair enough. You didn't need charisma anyway.
Not really.
If anything, it's funnier that Felix would have, like, low to mediocre charisma.
We can say that, like, the fucking bracelet just sort of rattles, and I go, oh yeah, I've got to call out the phrase on the inside of the bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it just the bracelet of the ebony turtle?
You
didn't write what was inside the bracelet.
No, because I typed it in the Roll20 chat.
Right. Patience rewards let your eyes see through mists. There, I said it.
So, as Felix calls out the invocation on the inside of the bracelet, his bracelet begins to, like, ooze out mist like a smoke machine. And as you are swallowed up by the fog, you open up your eyes once the mist has parted, and you find yourself do I still have the map, actually? It'd be very funny if I did. Yes, I do, actually. I forgot. You would find yourselves within the fountain in the town square of Rainwall, where you fought Testament. It's still sunny, which, you know, is a bit weird for Black Rain, considering, you know, it's Black Rain.
I don't think I'm gonna get used to that.
As you are looking around, you see a lot of the debris and a lot of, like, the stuff that would have been put up when you were invading the country has been moved. It looks definitely, like, a lot cleaner and nicer.
That's good.
Even though the architecture sort of has that, like, heavy gothic vibe, the actual atmosphere feels infinitely less oppressive. And yeah, as you sort of, like, look around, you know, get your bearings, Rua suggests to one of you guys, can any of you sending Guy or whoever to see where they are in Rainwall?
I can still send. Give me a minute. This is a bit new. Pulls out the spell book and starts flipping through pages.
As you do that,
S. No, that's T. How did I get to T?
Darren just kind of looks over Felix's shoulder. Question: I have always, I know this isn't true, but I've always, like, imagined Felix as, like, just a little guy.
Felix is quite tall, isn't he?
Felix is 5'10".
That's so funny. Because in my brain, like, Darren's like 5'6", 5'7", and I'm just like, yeah, Felix is just a little guy.
Darren's the shortest one in the party, because Rua's 5'8". And I know Karen, Aldane, and Seamus are all above 6 feet.
Yep.
It's that elvish blood.
Karen's actually taller than, like, both of you, because she's really tall.
Aldane's 6 foot flat.
Seamus is 6'3", isn't he?
I think it was. Hold on. I think I put him at, like, 6'2".
I know Karen's 6'8".
Jesus. To be fair, again, how much taller does Darren's heels make them?
It depends on the day.
Is this day 4 inches?
I like to imagine that Darren's having to tiptoe, though, to look over Felix's shoulder.
I'm thinking, like, jumping up and down.
Yeah.
I think Darren just kind of, like...
Darren just casts levitate. But, yeah. As Felix is sort of looking through his spellbook, and I assume, like, getting the message sent to Guy.
Yeah.
You know, as you sort of, like, look around, you can still sort of see the blood stains of some of this fighting, especially the carnage that Akra was wrecking on some of the people that you fought. But you notice the actual because the fountain itself had a statue. The actual statues had its head cut off. And it's noticeably covered in bird shit, like a lot of bird shit. Give me a history check, actually, as you like, if you want to figure out who the figure in the fountain was.
Is that anybody, or...?
Yeah, anybody. I always forget Rue is proficient in history.
Dyron sure isn't. Dyron's not from this part of the continent.
How could you forget Kaido? That's what he did his undergrad degree in.
Who?
Rua.
Rue would have actually not studied history. He would have,
I was making a joke.
Rue would have actually studied in, like, medicine of some sort.
Does he have proficiency in medicine?
Yes.
Fair enough.
He has proficiency in acrobatics, history, insight, medicine, perception, persuasion, and stealth.
I mean, history could have been his, like, minor.
It wouldn't have been his minor either.
At least he's not trying to strike a chord.
Well, yeah, obviously he can't. He has a negative to performance. No? Okay, whatever. So, you notice, because a lot of the text is actually kind of faded on the inscription of the statue, but the actual statue, Aldane, you just barely know. This statue is based on Alistair Towers, who you all know would be the Black Knight. Also, Turim's dad.
Fun.
Seamus, you would know that, based on your role, Alistair Towers was the last human general that Stasia had to kill to effectively end the war against humans. And he was lauded as an incredibly powerful and skilled general. He was often known for being a follower of Rybarb, actually. Despite the fact that he seemingly become the champion of Crusaders in the present day. You would have also known, studying history, that it was said he had no children that would have survived in the present day, which obviously, you know, is wrong.
Yeah.
And from what you can tell, this statue is actually... It would have been made probably about a decade before Against the War of Humankind. This statue is about 90 years old. But since then, now it's been defaced, so...
Oh no, someone defaced the statue of an enemy. Who would have thought?
Was it...
Hmm? Was it who? Sorry, Dairon?
No, I was just like, did you do that? I don't think you did.
From what you remember, the statue was not defaced when you first arrived in Black Rain. and fought Testament in the area, so it must have been a very recent thing.
Do you think the Black Knight traveled through here at some point?
I doubt that, Rue would say. I could easily imagine that someone here probably just cut the head off because they didn't want it. Like, they didn't want to look at the statue.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think the Black Knight would go out of their way to deface a statue when they're probably too busy wandering the land killing things.
It could be a lot of... there's a lot of reasons for a lot of things.
The guy might know. Have you got your sending ready, by the way, Mel?
Why does my book even have an umlauted U? I don't think there's any spells that begin with an umlauted U.
Does it have the AE thing that's like a fused letter?
It does!
It could be uber disintegration.
What about the reverse C?
Well, as Felix is coming up with their sending...
Sorry, I'm just being an asshole.
No, it's all good.
Felix finally finds a sending spell. What are we working with in terms of landmarks here? We've got the headless statue, we've got the bloodstain that looks sort of like Darren's leg.
We could just say the Rainwall Fountain with the headless statue. They'd probably know exactly where we are. Especially if Charity's working with them. She would know the city better than anyone, so...
Are we sure there's only one headless statue, though?
You could say it's the fountain where Testament was killed.
We did kill that guy, huh?
Well, Charity actually killed him.
I mean, someone did.
She was invisible and slit his neck.
Honestly, Dylan's just really, like... Question, how old is Charity?
You don't know.
Or rather, what does Charity look like?
She looks like a woman in, like, her mid-20s.
Okay. What race?
Tiefling.
Do you have, like, a face cast in mind?
I think I had a token of her ages ago.
Mm.
I do have the token, but, what I mean to say is that, she's like a grey-skinned tiefling. And yeah, she has like white hair. I know that much. Let me where is it now?
No, I'm just curious because like,
is it in my Roll20 library?
I was gonna make a joke and I'm like not gonna pursue it too hard, but like just as a joke or as a bit. Like Dara might actually start having a little bit of a crush on them.
Yeah, Charity's yeah, she has like very icy blue eyes with white, like very like bright white. I say bright, but like very clean white hair with very like pale skin. You could almost like mistake her for almost like a statue, really. And that's 25 words, yes?
It's 19 words, I believe.
Well, yeah, I meant like at max.
It has to be 25 words, no more, no less.
Well, guy said he's on his way, so I guess we're waiting here.
It only takes like about like 4 or 5 minutes for him to get here. He is walking alongside Charity, Jade, and you also see Who else was it? Prody, actually. Since you've last seen them, Prody especially looks very different. You didn't really get a good chance to look at him when he helped provide reinforcements with the orcs, but his gear actually looks a lot nicer. It looks like he might even have like magical armor just based on how good it looks. You also notice because he had a scar on his face where like on the right side of his face, and it went over his lip. He seems to have acquired another one that's going across the bridge of his nose horizontally. And his hair's also a bit longer. Jade has actually cut her hair shorter. It's about like a pixie cut length. And you can also see her armor is also looking a bit nicer. Guy looks drained. You can see very visible eye bags and dark rings in his eyes.
Bless his heart.
But he still looks well kept. You know, his armor's still pristine. You notice compared to like Jade, he's actually still wearing Cordisian like guard armor. And yeah. Charity, like I said before, how she's described, the actual length of her hair goes halfway down her back. And she's also wearing let me see, what would it be?
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
The outfit would just be like a simple I'm trying to think of how to describe it now. Because she is actually wearing what looks like light armor. It looks similar to the kind of gear Darren would wear for combat, really, in terms of like slim, like slim gear for like a feminine body. As you're approached by your friends and Charity, Guy looks at you with like a very clear and big smile, and he's like, it's good to see you all again.
Glad you're doing well, Guy.
Wish it could be under better circumstances, but
I'd say this is already good enough circumstances. It's been bedlam since you've been gone.
I can imagine. For what it's worth, we're sorry that we weren't around.
You don't need to apologize. You dealt with Eben, which is already more than we could have asked for. And as Guy looks at you all, how do I describe it? He's looking
Breaks
at you
down
all.
crying.
I mean, honestly, he would, but he's looking at you all and then frowning for a bit. Briefly.
We're sorry. We did what we
Oh.
could, but it wasn't enough.
It's fine. We'll deal with a funeral for him and the rest of the people who have died since, once we take back our home.
We do it for Kuro.
Yeah.
As Guy begins to lead you along to where you would be, where basically their base of operations currently is. As you're walking, Guy begins to explain how it was literally only like it was less than 24 hours after you actually said you'd breached Rainwall that Zaris had basically given it over. So, and he even mentions that it's very the implication that they were ready to take the country in such a short amount of time is very alarming.
Well, it was an inside job, so.
But it's more so that it happened that fast, and that they were seemingly like they must have been right either inside the country or just outside ready to be let in.
That is concerning, especially since they clearly had enough forces to launch that, even if it was while most of our forces were away.
Yes. We also have quite a few people MIA. Guy actually pulls out a list. These are the following people who are currently MIA.
How many are there? How many unaccounted for?
Well, there's a lot of people unaccounted for, but I'm only really listing the people that are within our circle, per se.
I did notice that not everyone is here.
Who else is it actually? I feel like there was someone else that I've neglected to mention, but yeah, these four, especially the people who are MIA right now, they assume that Oriana's just being looked after because Zaris has let them in. But
It's very likely that she's a hostage.
Leon, Cammy, and Tora are also missing.
What are the last known locations on all of them?
Well, Tora was actually with you guys. No, he wasn't. If I recall, actually, no. Tora and Cammy and Leon were all in Centralis. Cammy because she's a saboteur more so she had no reason to be on the front lines.
She's not good enough for.
Leon is a civilian, effectively. You know, he's in protection.
Well,
Tora's just gone, and they haven't actually been able to. He hasn't seemingly been replying to sendings.
Not ideal. It's possible he was taken prisoner, like a certain other friend of ours.
The guy has said though that Cammy has responded to sendings, but apparently she's been on the move a lot.
Have you tried sendings to Leon or Oriana?
Oriana hasn't been replying to sendings. Neither has Leon.
Not a good sign.
The only thing I can assume is maybe there's something like an because even being killed wouldn't necessarily stop sendings going through. But it's entirely possible that they might be in some sort of anti-magic field that's preventing them from having access to receiving sendings.
Not ideal.
But yes, Guy does also add that the farthest they've actually even been able to get to is the village where you went to meet Flora and what's the name? I actually don't remember Flora's mum, the name of it. Oh, Amanda, that was it. Back when you got the first Dracolich piece. Like, that's seemingly the furthest they can get to before they're pushed away.
Are
And as mentioned before, they've taken over the naval fleet, so there's no way for the group for them to even get around to like via boat. They've also increased their number of Tarascified white dragons, so even airborne isn't an option.
Well, we're just gonna have to sneak in somehow.
Eventually, you arrive at what Charity would actually say is the town hall of Rainwall. It's basically where Testament would have done his work day to day, but they've since commandeered it to effectively manage things within the country since they've taken over it, with Charity being the acting leader of the country. Inside, in basically this meeting room with a copy of the world map on the table, is I'll just bring you onto the world map copy that we always use. Inside the room is Turin. What's the name? Fucking, how can I forget her name? Tristina. Yeah, Turin, Tristina. Who else? There's a few other people, like some soldiers that you would know. And what's the name? Guy would go on to explain that Hayato's still in Tenoyama right now, just managing the country there and making sure nothing gets in, enemies wise. Colognopole still has Drick and the people who work there, and they've been helping actually offer to help with the restoration of Black Rain, with stuff like supplies and helping the people who've been, liberated. They've been keeping in contact with Torrent and his group, and the royal family of Siltanok. But I think I mentioned anyway at some point anyway. But yeah, Bo Vetman is just not getting involved. They actually aren't. They aren't willing to accept sendings. Like, they're just actively ignoring them, and any of the correspondence has just been ignored.
That doesn't shock me.
It's not ideal, though.
Prody would mention how he'll say, I've been actually coming up with some plans for what we could do to make it easier for us to get in. You see, within the Frostfang Mountains, he points at, as well as, I believe you would already know of the Aster Forest, both of them have orc tribes. There is also the Santusk orcs, but actually getting to Pahala would be easier said than done. But for now, those two tribes of orcs, I'd be willing to see if we could bring them into the fold, to tell them what's going on, and to see if we can get them to join our side and help take back Cordis and drive out the cult.
Well, we do have something of a relationship with the orc leader in the Aster Forest. Well, they know us, at least.
Well, that's a good start. But yeah, for now, as Prody was going to mention, even the neutral point has actually been taken over, so they can't even dock in the neutral point and go in that way. Like, that's been completely, yeah. Thankfully, because of having taken over Black Rain, a lot of the soldiers have surrendered, and the ones that haven't been imprisoned, because either they would have died or been imprisoned, they've taken their equipment to spread out amongst people, So they do have more than enough like equipment and weapons and stuff to actually fight back. It's just the bodies needed. And Prody would then continue to say, since I took over the Bloodblade Orc camp, the Bloodblade Orcs, every single one of them is willing to fight with us if needed. I mean, you saw the reinforcements when, you were getting into Black Rain.
We did. I do have to ask about the War Beast.
What about him?
Well, when we saw him during the attack, he was substantially...
bigger, yeah.
Beefier, yeah.
Remember the shaman? She gave it some she did something to it that enabled it to be very, very big. I honestly didn't want to ask. She did promise though that it's still just as healthy as a normal dog would actually be. It'll still continue to have a long life. It's just substantially larger than the average dog of that breed.
Fair enough.
And now it can be mounted as a war beast. It's funny to think, though, that it only happened after I killed Gadzooks. Which I forgot to mention, yeah, I had to kill him.
I didn't want to assume, but yeah.
The humans came to our doorstep, demanding that we allow them to pass through without... to allow the humans to pass through without being bothered by us, and they would not attack us. Gadzooks was willing to accept it, and so they did. But then, people from Black Rain also demanded that we do the same. However, they also wanted to conscript us. Gadzooks accepted on the condition that he would be a general in the army and be allowed to basically have carte blanche to do with whatever soldiers he would like under his unit. I vehemently disagreed, and we had a duel. I killed him and took command over the orcs, but during that, they used the confusion of the confusion. They took advantage of the duel Gadzooks and I had to help us. And it took a while for us to reunite. Thankfully, I was able to get in contact with someone from Cordis to help look after us at the crossroads. So then we could reunite and help you guys with invading Black Rain. No small number of orcs didn't appreciate that I'd killed Gadzooks, but
I can imagine.
After they saw me cut off his head, put it on a pike, and actually nearly beat one of the other orcs to death with said head on a pike, they quickly gave up.
Badass. Good for you.
Dang.
I'm just glad my dad's dead now.
Out of character, do we know that?
No, he's never mentioned this before.
Well, glad you took out your shitty dad.
Honestly, Tyra just
I'll be honest,
blinks once.
Patricide is... I didn't think I'd enjoy Patricide as much as I would, but that's for another time. But yes, so as I was saying though, now that the Bloodblade Orcs have been united under my leadership, I would be willing to go with you guys to the Frostfang Mountains and the Aster Forest to liaise with those orcs to see if we can get them to help us. This taking over Cordis is more than just Cordis's problem. It's going to be everyone's problem, especially if they have a Tarask that they could unleash on everyone else. And you see the others, like, in the room nodding. You know, like Tarim, Jade, and so on.
No wanting to get eaten by a Tarrasque sure is a good motivation to get people to help out. You'd think, anyway.
You would think.
If nothing else, the Frostfang Mountains is at least in a similar direction to another one of the temples, isn't it?
Yako.
Oh, well, if you have a need to go there, then we can kill two birds with one stone, then. It sounds like a good idea.
I think it's actually up towards the Zenith Peak in Tenoyama, but as I said, it's in a similar direction at least.
So I'll bring you onto the other map, the original map, so you can be reminded of where the temples would be.
Yeah, it's on the Frost Mountains. And then there's Suzaku and by Zenith Peak.
Seryu's gonna take a while to get over to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get to go to my temple for a long
Your
time.
temple's the Suzaku.
Oh, I thought it was Seryu for... Oh, the Suzaku? Yeah, still, even
Yeah.
then, like, we're probably gonna hit Byakko before we hit Suzaku.
Depends.
You would know that there is no traversable way to get to the Zenith Peak from Cordis Pole. You would have to pass through the mountain pass from Yuto. The only conceivable way is if you could fly, but from what you would know, Seamus and Felix, from your childhood of being brought up in, you know, Tenoyama, the storms are consistently so powerful that it makes only the most strongest of apex predators will be able to traverse the clouds and the storms within the skies.
Sounds about right.
And unfortunately, you do not have Oryx, because he's also MIA. As you because, you know, he was captured. As you continue to discuss, at this point, you would actually see Layla walk into the room. Oh, good to see you're all back.
We went to the land of the dead.
We did not have a fun time there.
They're
I
telling
see. Well, I was liaising with some of our forces. It seems as if, how would I describe it? It seems as if, Venari is still somehow keeping themselves from being invaded.
Maybe it has something to do with their psychopath mercenaries out there.
Mr. X wasn't a psychopath.
I don't know. They have some intense people. I guess what I mean to say.
There's also Ivor Alloway, that one dwarf who helped you out. From what you would know, Venari's actually very well defensible because of the trees in the area allow Venari to use the trees and the cover of said trees to basically be a really good defensive position.
They're in the trees! They're in the trees!
It's also close enough to Aster Forest that in the worst case scenario, they can retreat into the forest and hopefully find a way to seek refuge in there. But, yeah. At this point, Guy would look to you guys and say, so what do you think the plan should be?
If we head to the Frostfang Mountains, then we, as you said, violently kill two birds with one stone. We can recruit the orcs there and get to the Temple of the Byakko. Will be a little bit harder to get down to Aster Forest, though.
Guy would point out anyway that you would be able to when it comes to getting to the Frostfang Mountains, you would probably have to actually pass through Glavnaya. As according to Drick, because he's been involved with the idea of like meeting the orcs. The best way to get to the mountains would actually be to pass through Glavnaya, because they actually have a path to get there to begin with. Which would mean something, not a 1-to-1, but it'd be something akin to like, passing through like this way to get to it. And then at that point, you would then be able to get to the temple from the to the northwest of the mountains. Well, or at least wherever the orcs actually reside.
I mean, it would be a little bit going in the other direction, but certainly it's probably better than trying to trek through Kolodniopol's wilderness.
Yeah. Guy actually says how it would be very dangerous, and there's no while there are the very rare safe houses that dot the area, it would be few and far between for a large enough group that might consist of, say, you four plus Rua plus Kerin, and then like Prody. So the path that Drick has said would be the safest option.
Do we know where specifically in the Frostfang Mountains the orcs are? Because that's a lot of mountain range to cover.
According to Drick, they actually meet the Frostfangs, the orcs, at the base of the mountain whenever it comes to dealing with them. And then they retreat back in, so they actually have no clue where the base is. The orcs do not want to reveal their base.
Understandable.
So, yeah, unfortunately, you might have to do some exploration.
Oh goody, exploring a bunch of mountains to find some potentially hostile orcs. No offense, Prody.
I mean, they're not my orcs.
I mean, it's... What is the other option? If there is any other option?
You mean if we can't work with the orcs to get them to help us?
I mean, no, I mean... What would be... If we didn't choose to go to the Frostfang Mountains, what would we do instead? Or is that the only option, really?
I mean, there's probably other ways to get enough strength. If we could somehow pass onto the other landmass, we could work with Pahala and Siltanok to try and get their forces to help us.
Has anyone tried to sail in the opposite direction and see if we pop out on the other side?
I mean, the planet is round. Canonically, it would be known that the Earth is round, like the planet is round.
But has anybody tried that? And how long does it take?
The problem is that the sea is still not completely safe to the east of us. So it wouldn't be very safe to do. And we have no technology or means to fly around either.
That does kind of put a bit of a burden on things, yeah.
The best case scenario is if we could somehow, and the problem is there's no ports to the north, so, and, Gaius, I mean, that is his full name, but Guy would the best thing is if we could somehow go all the way around here, which again, it's not safe to get to this part of the water, but we'd have to traverse all the way around to then hope there's a port to the north of Siltanok, or hope that we could somehow get to Bagway. Failing that, if they don't let us on, we'd have to then maybe get to the Blue Sands Resort, or to Torrent.
That's a lot of ifs and a lot of shipwrecks very possibly happening.
Let me...
And going the south
2,217...
route is not much better, considering that Centralis is currently a hostile port. So you'd have to go into deep water to avoid that navy.
In universe, it would take a month to do that by boat. To get from Rainwall around Tenoyama, around Colonia Pole, to get to Torrent.
How long will it take us to get from Rainwall to Glavnaya and then into the Frostfangs?
Good question. 1 and 2, 3. So we'll just say from here to Glavnaya for now would be 21 days. So it'd be 21 days to get from here to Rainwall, from Rainwall to Glavnaya, and then it would take about, to get to the base of the mountains would be another 8 days, so about a month as well.
So either way, we're talking a month in which the cult of the Tarrasque is getting to do whatever they want in Cordis.
Guy actually says they are not factoring in the idea of going around the continent to get to Torrent that way, because not only would it take too long, they cannot guarantee that those 31 days would be without being bothered in any capacity. There could be pirates, because pirates do exist. There could be pirates, there could be sea monsters, there'd be storms.
I mean, you say it's... I can absolutely understand the danger portion of it, but you're saying it's too long when it's going to take the same amount of time for us to get to the Frostfangs?
But it would be safer to go there on foot.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. I understand the danger part of it, but you said it would be too long when it's the exact same amount of time, basically.
The problem is, though, is because of the danger, it could potentially take an extra 10 days or even another month. And that's if we wouldn't get shipwrecked.
Turns to look at the others. How good are you at swimming?
Also, in that entire month, anyone on that boat would be unable to do anything to help. At least if you were to go on foot, you could go to, you can help with Tenoyama, you could help, say, go to maintain the borders. There's so much we could be doing that isn't requiring us to be stuck on a boat.
I wasn't arguing for the boat. I'd like to make that clear.
I know. But again, that's why we are not considering it.
I totally understand that. I understand that there are a lot more negatives for the boat. I'm just trying to see if there's any other, alternative routes other than the Frostfangs, but it doesn't seem like there are.
Again, as they mention, unfortunately, with the neutral points being taken over, they would be at the disadvantage trying to even get to it from that way. And then you would still have to deal with being the ports here, which would also be fortified, to what you know, and then having to get through, even if you went straight from there to the forest, or, somehow found a way to dock within the forest, it's still dangerous.
I don't suppose anybody knows the spell teleport.
Nope.
I know Dimension Door.
Oh god, we can go in 300-foot leaps.
Oh, it's further than that.
Is it?
Terim says, unfortunately, I don't have that in my book yet.
The limitation with Dimension Door is I can only take one other person.
And I don't suppose there's a teleportation circle to Glavnaya, is there?
Nope. Apparently, according to Drick, there was originally a teleportation circle, but it got destroyed during the coup that Drick was a part of when it came to liberating Colodnia Pole. And they are working on trying to see if they can restore it. But it would still require someone with access to teleportation circle as a spell, which unfortunately, Oryx is the only one you actively know who has access to that spell.
Yeah.
So with Dimension Door, we can go 500 feet at a time.
And we can do how many?
That's not nearly enough.
And we can do that how many times in a row before you have to rest?
3.
And we're only taking one
that's
person along
not
with it. Yeah, that's not going to be helpful.
Also that's only
Math ain't mathin'.
It's also feet, not miles. So you
Yeah.
wouldn't. Well, you might cut maybe an hour or so at best. You'd still be potentially on your own with only one other person to defend you.
Overall, just not a good strategy. So is it really our best bet to just go on foot? Or a wagon, as it were?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, got time to light the person, I guess.
If we really wanted to cut time, we could see in the time it'll take for us to leave Rainwall and get out of the country. We could see if it would be possible for us to get to Shimo, rest at Shimo, and then just cut straight to Glavnaya if possible.
Again, we'd be going through that Colodnia Pole wilderness again.
We would. Which is why, again, if it would be possible to make it safer on their end, or if Tenoyama can help make it safer, we would have then, protection to just pass through that part of the wilderness to get to Colodnia Pole.
Right, well, we obviously, it's a long time before we have to make that decision, but
for now, take a few days to rest. We're still organizing and working with other things. You've been very busy from the sounds of it, having dealt with, the actual infiltration of Black Crane, fighting the now late Emperor, and getting out of the Land of the Dead. You can afford to rest up and relax.
Are you sure it wouldn't be best for us to just set off now?
I mean, yes and no, because the problem is that, how would I describe it? Well, you would need more than one cart, because if there's 6 of you, and if Prody's coming with you, that would be 7. Then that would involve you needing 2 carts, and then also being able to, handle all of that. And they would need time to find, 2 carts that they could send you off with.
Alright.
So yeah, it will take them a couple of days anyway to get the supplies for you to be able to make the journey. So you've got no choice to wait at least about 2 days.
Can't be helped, I guess.
Layla will then say, I can take you to a hotel where you can rest for a couple of days and, sleep. We would also ask while you're here, during the time that you'll have to wait, if you could help us out with, looking after the people here.
We'll see what we can do.
So, Layla will lead you along through the city. As she's sort of walking along, you see quite a few people like waving at her, being very friendly. You see several like Cordis guards are like, helping with like fixing buildings. A few of them are doing courier work, it seems like, moving boxes and packages to people. And also just doing like various other things. You see a few children are actually playing with a few of the Cordis guards. A lot of the people, at least the few people that you're seeing of like Black Rain citizens, a few of them are wearing like a mix of clothing. It seems like, a lot of them are wearing very high class clothing. If only because, as Layla would explain, they basically, all of the slave owners have been executed.
Good.
All of their housing has been given to the slaves, the former slaves, I should say, and they have since then claimed the clothes and such.
That sounds great. That sounds awesome.
Let me just get some new music, actually, because they've had this music for a bit. But we'll use this song, sure. And yeah, she would go on to explain how since meeting Guy during the time that she and her sister escaped, she's been working with him to basically make amends. And yeah, she's been going out of her way to like, try and sneak in as much as she can to Centralis to see if there'd be any way to like help assist with like making some sort of entryway so that at least even a small group of people could get through. But again, the furthest she can get to is around the area with the unnamed village, before she's completely stopped. And yeah. During the walk, Karen will actually say, if you guys are heading to the Frostfang Mountains, I'm going to head back to my home, well, mine and Akira's home, not only to keep a check on the kids, but to... how would I describe it? I don't want to... If you're going to be doing these Trials of the Gods, it won't be helpful if I'm there to make things too easy for you. It's them testing you. It's not as if, like, Rua is monstrously powerful to the point where he will, upset any balance that they have for the tests. Whereas, and she at least gestures to you, Darren and Aldane, you've seen how strong I can be?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
I will, however, be there on the front lines when it comes to breaking through to Centralis. And any other skirmishes I absolutely have to be there for. It also just means one less body that you'll have to account for when it comes to getting through the pole. But for now, you still have me. I'm not going anywhere just yet. So, as you arrive at the inn that Layla is letting you go to, I say letting you go to, that sounds wrong. The inn that you'll be staying at, inside the inn, you see Sora is actually sat at a table, talking to a few people. Sora waves to you, but like he's still in the middle of his like talking to the people he's talking with, so you might have to wait a bit if any of you would want to speak to him. The innkeeper, describe it. The innkeeper will give you 2 rooms, with 2 beds. Unfortunately, they don't have enough room to like give you extra rooms because a lot of the rooms are already being used by the guards to help, so they have somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you who is going to sleep with whom in which room.
Whom in a room. Aldain has no specific preferences.
Rock, paper, scissors to see who has to room with Seamus.
Hey.
Yeah, sure.
Seamus isn't that bad. Seamus isn't that bad.
Roll 1d3. 1 is paper, 2 is scissors, 3 is rock.
Do we have D3s?
You can do the advanced dice roller. Oh no, it doesn't let you do it on there, does it?
No. I mean, we could do a
no.
D4.
Let's say D4 is a reroll.
Yeah, a 4 is a reroll on a D4.
Okay.
So Rua's going to be doing the rock paper scissors. Karen genuinely does not care. She's fine with just like sleeping on the floor wherever because she was raised like that anyway.
Right. Ready?
3, 2, 1, roll. So I think
Reroll, Aldain.
Felix wins.
There we go. I was gonna say reroll again. So it depends on what Felix. Oh no, yeah, Felix wins.
Felix got rock.
So Felix has. So currently it's 2 separate rooms. Whoever's bunking with Seamus and whoever's bunking with Felix. So now it's Aldain, Dyron, and Rua have to do their rock paper scissors because they all tied.
3, 2, 1, roll.
God damn it! Stop rolling 4s. Stop rolling 4s.
What the fuck?
No, wait, hold on. Other way around. Felix lost.
Oh yeah, Felix lost.
God damn it.
So Felix is actually with Seamus. So it's a room with Felix and Seamus.
Try to act a little less.
Which means
Aldain
Aldain won the second round.
So Aldain has his own room. So now it's Rua and Dyron. Are you ready, Dyron?
Yeah, I just rolled, sorry. God damn it.
Did it not? Oh, I clicked the wrong thing anyway. Oh my god. Rua won, right?
No.
Scissors.
Dyron won.
Oh, right, okay. So Aldain, Dyron, and Felix?
Sure.
Sure.
And then Rua and Seamus.
Cool.
Because Karen's just gonna sleep wherever. She genuinely does not care.
Yeah, she's also married.
It's not even that. It's just she just does not care. Like she doesn't want to share a room. She's actually not married because you've never seen a ring on either her or Akra's hand.
Well, when I say married, I mean fundamentally she and Akra are married.
Yeah.
It's a common law married, basically.
But yeah, so as you sort of get your room, like you go to your rooms, Each room has 2 beds and a couch, so Felix can just trance on the couch if he wants. And yeah, you put your things away, and at this point, I'm gonna allow all of you to decide if you want to like roleplay with any particular characters to catch up with any of them. I'll do a list of who is currently available to interact with. I believe these are the ones that you can roleplay with. Oh, I forgot about Sora as well. So yeah, include Sora.
Do y'all want to roll a d4 to see who goes first?
Yeah, roll a d4. I will say the lowest number goes first.
Ah.
Oh. Felix? Seamus? Dyron?
You know what would be really funny is if whoever got the most 4s went on the rock, paper, scissors goes last.
Again? So for now, it's Aldane.
Yeah.
So Aldane, out of the list of people, who do you want to catch up with?
I need a sec to figure it out.
I feel like I'm forgetting an NPC, but I don't know who it would be.
Aldane's gonna talk with Jade.
Okay. So, Aldane, you find Jade currently using her insane strength to move a bunch of boxes.
Hey, Jade, you want a hand over there?
Oh, sure, catch. And she underhand tosses you one of the boxes. Give me a strength check.
Oh, God. Just a straight up check, not a saving throw?
Saving throw, actually, yeah. You have to, like, buckle your knees. Because it's heavy. But you handle it like a champ.
Could you... Next time, please give a warning.
I said catch.
A little bit more warning than just that.
Fair enough. I mean, you offered.
Yes, I did. That was, that's on me.
To be fair, I should have said, would you like to catch this? That might have been better.
Perhaps, yes. How are you holding up?
I'm doing fine. I'm just worried about my family in Centralis.
Yeah.
Also,
you and me both.
To my knowledge, my mum was killed by the cult, so I have a vested interest in dealing with them.
Yes.
Oh, well, not that she was necessarily killed by the cult, but at least her and my dad got separated because of the cult, and the stress of the cult, what happened with the cult, caused her to pass early.
Yeah.
How's Akra doing, by the way? Because I haven't seen him in ages.
Akra is currently, taking a tour of the underworld.
Lucky.
He was very happy to be able to see his partner again after so long.
I like Karen. She seems cool. I'd love to fight her one day.
Well, you're free to ask her if you want. Just be aware that she is quite strong.
I mean, anyone who's capable of, having a long relationship with someone like Akra is probably very powerful. For now, though, I have my mind on the goal, which is to help liberate Cordis and whatever we decide to do with the humans when it comes to the cults.
Yes.
I'm honestly quite glad that I don't have to be involved with a lot of those politics.
It's nice to be able to set that aside, isn't it?
It's just... how do I describe it? It was worrisome when it came to already dealing with Black Rain. Hearing about all the awful things with Black Rain made me want to kill all of the guards, as an example, but I wasn't involved in the decision making, and I don't want to be when it comes to the cult. I don't want to... as angry and as much as I hate those people for the evil they do, I also know there's a lot of nuance to that kind of dealing that's too much for me, I would say. Sometimes I feel like just being a warrior and a soldier is much easier than having to think, but I also know that's a luxury I don't get to deal with.
Yes. It is unfortunately the case that fighters like us have to... we have a different calculus on our minds.
Also, if Kuro is gone, then... And you when she mentions that, you can see her, like, visibly choking back tears.
I'm sorry.
If he is gone, then we'll have to work on filling his shoes as well.
They're big shoes to fill.
I mean, from the succession of command, it would be Guy who would take over the command of the lower tier districts. And I assume he'd probably have someone like Tristina or Cammy be his second in command.
Ordinarily, yes. That is how it would play out.
How are you holding up, by the way?
I've been better. It
missing Oriana?
was not. Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be okay. She's not weak.
She's not.
Help.
Yeah.
I am worried for everyone, though. We don't know what could be happening to the citizens.
Just concern upon concern, really.
I mean, also, Aldane out of character, your mum and sister are there as well.
Yep. Like I said, concern upon concern. I can't do anything right now, but...
because you're definitely going to be one of the people who'll be breaking into Centralis. What do you think
that I will be.
What do you think you'll do when you see Zaras?
Zaras? Well, I owe him a duel.
Well, if you beat him, I'm sure he won't be able to do anything to stop you from marrying Oriana.
No, I imagine he won't. Funny how things worked out that way. If only it were less awful circumstances.
Who knows, maybe this is some sort of grand plan of his to make them be safe and secure and think that they can get away with anything, only to suddenly pull a face turn. It turns out he was always a good guy, and like, I don't know, maybe he left some sort of secret backdoor we don't know about yet.
And leave them all cursing his sudden but inevitable betrayal, as it were?
I'd like to hope that's the case.
As would I. Unfortunately, we can only speculate at this stage.
Yeah. For now, though, like you said, we can only speculate and get on with our lives.
Yep. It was nice talking with you, Jade.
It's good talking to you, Aldane, and thank you for helping with the boxes.
Of course.
So, Mill and Dylan, can you both give me a D4? Lowest will be the one who gets to go first.
Just while I'm doing that, Aldane saying, funny how things turned out like that, makes it seem like fucking Aldane
like, on it.
Yeah, Aldane like planned Zarus's fucking turn so that, you know, he'd have a genuine reason to kill Zarus and be free to marry Oriana.
Just give me an excuse.
Felix, who do you want to roleplay with? Jade is considered busy now, so you won't be able to talk to
her. Darren and Seamus, who are you thinking of going to?
I forgot to include Layla as well. I'm fucking stupid.
That's alright.
That's who I forgot.
I was
Seamus is just gonna curl up in the fetal position on his bed.
He doesn't have that luxury.
I was waffling between Charity and Layla.
Okay. Seamus?
Well, I guess I don't really have anybody to talk to.
Doesn't matter. Maybe you can make a new friend.
Who all is there?
Sora.
I mean, yeah, you can talk to Sora.
I mean, so can you, Felix, really. He is a fellow countryman.
No, just wanted to, you know, check and see who people were thinking about talking to. I'm probably gonna go to Turum.
So, you would find Turum at the library. They are looking at a large stack of books. If you peruse any of the covers, you can see a lot of them are going over tactics. Oh, Felix.
Hey, so it looks like we sort of cast spells in the same way now, so I was, you know, I don't know, maybe asking for advice? Maybe...
Like what?
I don't know, this is new to me. Usually I just fling some ink and it does the business. Now I have to read a book.
I mean, how do you order your spells?
Well, the spell book that I got was already in alphabetical order, but it's got some weird letters in there.
Disgusting! What? What the fuck? They must have been a villain of some sort.
Well, they were an undead lich who killed me, so yeah, I would say so.
What?
Don't worry, I'm back alive again. It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, you can have a look and see if there's any spells in there that you don't have.
You can also check mine.
Thank you. I've also got testaments here, if you want to have a look at that one as well.
Oh, excellent. But, how have things been, by the way?
I mean, they could have been better. Not being able to save Kuro was a blow. I think it probably helped that we did get thrown into the land of the dead, so that we didn't really have a chance to linger on it, I guess. Certainly, I don't think Rua's doing amazingly, especially considering what we did in the land of the dead. But what with the whole being followed or following around a portion of his dad's like personality, soul, psyche, I'm not really sure what he was, and then the other part meeting up and coming together and then having to fight Rua's dad, yeah, that was rough.
Torium's just looking at you. Bearing in mind they still have their mask on, so you can kind of just barely see their eyes, and they're just looking at you. And then, like, looking down at their book and putting a bookmark in and just closing it. And just shaking their head to themselves.
I've got the spell that chucks magic cards at people if you want it.
Oh yeah, I heard about that spell. Maybe later. For now, though, I don't know. I just feel off my game at the moment.
I mean, I can completely understand that.
How so?
Well, I mean, this whole adventure has been illuminating, I guess. I feel...
I mean, for me, it's the fact that, depending on what happens, my entire race could potentially be even more stigmatized than ever before.
Yeah, I can see how that'd be rough.
Not only that, but I came from the period of history where that was going on in the war.
All I can say is certainly we'll do our best to make sure that doesn't happen. I know Rue will do the same. I know certainly we are just, 4 adventurers. There's only so much we can do, but nobody deserves to be stigmatized for something they couldn't control. And especially considering, it's not like being born a certain race makes you evil. I mean, we're currently working with Layla. She was our enemy for quite a while.
Yeah, true.
And we,
I actually... Go ahead, sorry.
I mean, and we worked with Zaris a little bit, and now he's turned out to be a dick. It's all about choices.
I've tried to scry on Zaris. I don't like what I've seen. How do I describe it? I believe he might have undergone terrestrification.
Oh no. Well, if nothing else, it's gonna make Aldane's duel with him a bit awkward.
It'll be more than awkward.
Well, as much as we joke about it, he won't be alone in that duel.
I've been also looking into terrestrification as well, and unfortunately I can't find any known way to reverse it. So if he actually has undergone terrestrification, there's only one thing we can do for him.
Well, once he gets through the beating we're gonna put him through, he'll end up in the land of the dead, where I'm sure Akra will give him just as much of a beating, if not more so.
I've also got a ritual I intend to do for you guys before you actually leave.
Oh?
I think I said a while ago, I've been working on a magic to basically, like, let people see through the memories of others in the past. I was planning on having you guys do that to see if you can find anything elucidating about the war against humans. Unfortunately, as the caster, I won't be able to look at the memories myself. All I would be able to do is make sure that you have the means to traverse such a state. Turns out those shamans from the Bloodblade Orcs are surprisingly good at, like, natural magic. It also helps that Prodi's also quite clever, so I have someone to bounce off in that regard. And Guy, too, to be fair.
They're both definitely smart cookies.
seems like you've become a wizard as well. I can sense the energy anyway.
Yeah, when we were in Monsoon Manor, we did the trial of Gembu, which resulted in me being remade, I guess is the best word.
I've heard about that.
When I came out on the other side, I was casting spells with the book instead of my ink, I guess.
Well, from what I can tell, wizards have a more... I say from what I can tell. Wizards are just generally more reliable of spellcasters compared to, say, sorcery. We have more spells to pick from. Our magic is generally just easier to channel. But, I mean, every form of casting magic has its own merits. I mean, a strong bard can be potentially more scary than any wizard.
Seamus has certainly done some insane things.
And you've seen Oryx in the past.
Us too.
I mean, heck, I didn't even know you could even maintain concentration on 2 spells until Akra told me you could do it.
Yeah, that was wild.
And he's not even a wizard.
I really need to learn how to do that. I have so many spells, but so little concentration.
Usually, because maintaining 1 spell is enough of a endurance test in of itself. But for now, though, I should really...
No, you get back to your research.
It was good talking to you, though, Felix, and it's good to see you all again.
Yeah, you too.
Genuinely.
And, don't be too upset about the headless statue of your dad over in the fountain.
I asked for it to be cut down.
Fair enough.
I thought we could reuse the stone to turn it into other resources.
That's probably true. I mean, imagine a wall with a face staring out of it. Or a crotch.
We just used the stone to help prepare some of the houses. It's one of them as well, because of the lack of rainfall. A lot of production has been severely halted. This entire city was run mostly on hydro-powered energy, so...
Yeah, I suppose they would have gotten used to the whole rain all the time and, put a lot of their systems on it.
I mean, at least pneumonia has been effectively erased from this country for the most part. That's for another time. Until later. I'll see you later, Felix.
Have a good time reading, I guess.
See you later. Seamus. Dylan?
Yes. Oh, I thought I thought you had something more to say. You just said my name.
Who would you like I was just waiting for you to respond in acknowledgement. Who would you like to speak to?
Remind me who else is there. It's Layla.
So now there is Charity, Guy, Karen, Rura, Tristina, Prody, Sora, and Layla.
I'll talk to Prody.
So you find Prody, who is basically sorting out some of his soldiers. He's basically ordering them to, do things. And he sees you. Oh, it's good to see you, Seamus.
Sup? How you doing, Cody?
Tired.
Understandable. Sounds like everybody's been through a lot here.
We have. It's been crazy. But we're getting by.
Yeah. And look at you, big shot in charge of the whole clan.
I know. I always wanted to be in charge, but I never realized what. Well, it's not. Honestly, it's not that hard. It helps that a lot of the orcs are very self-sufficient to begin with. It's more so training them out of a lot of the bad habits they've undergone.
Yeah. And you have a different philosophy than a lot of them do, so I'm sure that's an adjustment for them.
I don't want the Bloodblades to be feared. I want us to be respected.
Yeah, major difference there.
But
how are you doing in terms of how are you feeling about everything?
nervous, honestly. I've never interacted with orcs outside of my clan, so
yeah. But it'll be nice to get the gang back together.
Yeah, it'd be nice to travel with you guys again. I've missed it. The last time, I think, was the Forbidden Ice, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, going back. Well, on the other side of the continent from there, but we're going back up there.
And that's been nearly a year now. Oh yeah, I forgot. You were gone for a while.
Yeah, Land of the Dead.
Do you know how long you were gone for?
Can't say I do. I know time is a little different down there versus up here. I mean, down there it felt like...
You've been gone for over a month.
Huh. Out of character, from our perspective, it was like a week or something down in the Land of the Dead? Not even?
Yeah, it was quite a short time span.
Yeah. Wow, time really is a lot different down there, huh?
I mean, also, from our perspective, there was an entire massive dome that was covering the island. It was similar to those, how would you describe it? Them domes when the Dracolich pieces are doing stuff, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah, and that's always been time dilated as well, too.
How are you doing, by the way, Seamus?
Well, I'm alive. I thought of anybody in our group going through the Land of the Dead, I'd be the most likely to not make it out.
You're stronger than you realize.
Maybe so. Or maybe I'm just lucky enough to avoid some of the bigger hits.
Luck is always a factor in life.
You
know, it would be arrogance to say that luck does not play at least a not so insignificant factor into combat.
Yeah. Also getting gifted with all these fun items to play with, too.
Oh, what have you got?
I kind of, like, pull out all the figurines I have, and I'm like, oh, these guys help me out a lot.
Oh.
And I even got a new one here as I hold up the, what was it, the black onyx.
The onyx dog, yeah.
Onyx dog, yeah. I need to add that to my character sheet.
What if I told you I heard a story about those figurines? Apparently, if you can collect them all together, they become an entirely new figure that effectively combines their powers.
Seamus feels a new mission forming in his mind.
What was the name of the creature again? Cordis going to do a check.
Gotta catch them all.
Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em.
Oh shit! Okay then.
Gotta fill out my Pokedex.
What was the? Now I have to check because it's a specific thing that I've come up with. Because there's the silver raven, the serpentine owl, onyx dog, obsidian steed, marble elephant, ivory goat, golden lions, the ebony fly, and the bronze griffin. But
you see the serpentine owl?
There's a lot. You've not even got like half of them.
I've got 2 of them, and there's like 8.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 of them. I don't even have a third of them. And even, I think the goats, they have 3 different goats. So technically it's 12.
It's not. It's not. It's just there's one goat figurine.
But you can summon 3 different.
Yeah, it just summons them like the lions, but it's still one.
Okay.
according to what Prody has learnt, let me see what it was. It becomes where is it now? Here it is. It becomes sorry, the Ruby Hawk, apparently.
The Ruby Hawk?
Yeah, apparently, as Prody will go and say, because he crit on his Arcana, the Ruby Hawk would combine all of, or at least most of the powers of the figurines into one being. It can go up to 3, just like the goats. It would effectively be as big as an elephant, but with like the dexterity of, say, the owl or the raven. And apparently it can even condense its size to be as big as the ebony fly would be.
Wow, so it can change its size.
Yeah, this was stuff that I found from scrolls in the Bloodblade Orc camp before we got attacked. Unfortunately, I lost the scroll when we got attacked by the Black Rain guards.
Well, even any information's good. I mean, not that I'm ever going to be able to collect all of the figurines of power, but given the chance.
It's potentially a goal, and if you can collect them, it means that they aren't being used for evil purposes.
True, they are a big difference maker. And I only have the lions and the hound.
So, what do you think are our chances?
I don't know. I tend to fly on the optimistic side, so I think we have a good group of people. I don't really think there's much that can stand in our way. Plus, I don't know if you know this, we have 4 gods backing us, so I think we'll come out of this all right.
I do remember Aldane temporarily using some of the power of the Byakuya when we fought the White Dragon.
Yeah. They can't exactly carry us through this, but they lend us a helping hand when they can, it seems.
We need all the help we can get, for sure. But I'm quite confident.
I gotta think of ways to upgrade my moveset. Things I can train on.
I mean, during this time... Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, part of me wants to keep practicing my instruments, but it also doesn't seem quite right to be practicing music with a war going on. However, maybe that's the way I can help.
We need all the help we can get, and that also includes being able to relax. Also, if you aren't at your game, your A game, then that also becomes a problem. And if you need to relax and practicing that, then that's just as good as anything else. Not only that, but it's the source of your spellcasting, so if anything, it would be, it'd be like if Felix suddenly decided to stop painting. I mean, from what I can tell, Felix is no longer a painter to cast spells with, but, I like if Dyron stopped being broody and sneaking.
Oh, well, that'd be a cold day in hell.
Well, one of the hells is actually cold.
You know what I mean.
I do. He chuckles.
It'll be good to have you back.
It was good to see you as well. It's going to be fun going out again, lads on tour, so to speak.
Yeah, can't wait to see how much you've grown. We haven't even fought together in a year.
I know it's crazy. But until
and I got a few new moves that you'll be excited to see too.
I'm sure I will. Until then, though, I have more work to do, sadly. But if you ever need to spar or hang out, I'm always game.
I'll keep that in mind. Take care, Prody.
You too, my friend. Before we continue with Dairon, I just need to be right back for one moment. That won't be long.
Alright.
And then we'll be able to do Dairons.
So how's the weekend been for everyone else?
It's been alright. My boss was like, you should take a sick day. And I was like, I feel fine. He's like, you're taking a sick day.
Nothing like being forcefully reminded of your human limitations, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm great. He's a good boss. He's been really good, but it's one of those.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you?
Oh, I have a short weekend, so I only got one. I had to deal with losing sleep because of the spring forward thing, so that's not fun.
No.
Can I just say how much I hate springing forward?
It's the worst.
Yeah, falling back is one thing, but springing forward is just fuck no.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's just so awful.
Thankfully, it's a couple of weeks out for me.
Lucky bastard.
Oh, well, he'll just be feeling it later.
That is true. He will be.
Yeah, but now that I know to, think on it, I can at least try and prepare, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get a little early warning from us.
Yeah. And hey, anything that, brings you guys closer to me in time, makes things better for me, especially Jack, considering where you are in the US, what that time difference is.
Yep.
Oh, you guys want to know what really sucks? So we just had the spring forward, and tomorrow morning I have to be at work at 6:45.
I have to be at work at 6 tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
I have a 40-minute drive to get there.
Wait, what? Why a 40-minute drive?
I'm going to another location for training.
Oh, fun.
If I'm having to be somewhere for 6 a.m., I'm just not sleeping.
Hello.
Yeah, but you're on a different cycle from the rest of us.
I know.
Mill's a psychopath because he fucking stays up late. What was it? He messed when after we went off last session. He sent a message at fucking 4:38 in the morning when I was already way fast asleep, going on about his respec and things with Felix.
Well, we were trying to
rabbit hole.
I woke up and I was like, "Oh, what's this Discord notif?" So the time's like, "Why? Go to bed, man."
To be fair, I think I was on my way to bed then. I think.
But I'm ready to continue with your thing, Darren, if you're ready.
Sure.
Who do you want to speak with? Layla or Charity? Because I think it was between those two anyway, weren't it?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Layla.
Okay. So...
As much as it would be funny to have Dairon be really, disaster lesbian chick Charity, I think this is better.
Who says he can't be enemies to lovers with Layla?
Oh, I'm sure that's a whole... If there was fanfiction about our campaign, there would absolutely be fanfiction about Layla and Dairon.
You say "if" so confidently, as if nobody's done it yet.
I've looked.
Oh. Dairon,
Yes.
you currently see Layla actually, she's, how do I describe it? She is currently walking through, Rainwall, the city. As you bump into each other, she just, like, smiles at you slightly and goes, "Oh, it's good to see you again, Dairon."
And to you, I'm glad you seem to be doing well.
I'm getting by. I wish I could be with my sister, though, but she's currently in Utah in protection right now.
Last I remember, she wasn't doing great because of the Force Resurrection. How is she health-wise?
She wasn't resurrected. That was Gertrude.
Oh, sorry.
She was the one who got used as a zombie in Pahala at that point. Anemone is the one sister other than me who lived when we fought you way back when. She's getting by. We're sending letters to each other regularly. She's doing better, especially after learning Eben is now dead, thankfully.
Well, I'm glad we were able to provide you guys at least that little bit of comfort.
You know, it's funny. I was actually asleep when Drake, or Kuro, I guess I should probably call him, is what he would have preferred, when he passed, and I actually had I say a dream. I felt him, so to speak, while I was, tranced.
Yeah.
It just reminded me. It's strange. I knew him. We grew up together because Gertrude was actually his direct sibling because they had the same mother.
Right.
But it was Gertrude, him, me, Taika. Anemone is quite a few years younger than us, so she wasn't around at the time. She was only born after Drake had already left the Imperium. But it was the four of us, mostly together a lot. But by his 5th birthday, any child of Eben's was taken to see how compatible we would be to be Eben's vessel. And it was after that things had shifted. Our mothers, told us to stay away from him. We were told not to sully him. And I remember being beaten really badly by my own mother for wanting to play with him again. I wish I could have done more to help him, but I couldn't. And then he, ran away. He did the one thing all of us kids wanted to do. And I found myself hating him because, he did the thing I wanted to do. How is it that my younger brother could have the courage to run away and then have a life that he could choose to live? I don't blame him or myself. I hate Eben, and my mother especially.
Yeah, she doesn't sound great.
A lot of the women who were his concubines, some of them were brainwashed, some of them were effectively part of the cult, I guess you could say, but
yeah.
Maybe this is wrong of me to say, but I'm of the opinion that you still have a responsibility to the children you bring into the world, whether or not you're brainwashed. They would bend over backwards to please him. And we were just ways to get favor with him.
Yeah.
But that's all long since happened now. And now I've outlived my brother and my father. Tell me, what was Kuro like in his last moments?
Darn, I imagine like we're standing like, I don't think we are, but like it feels like we're on a dock walking along like water.
I could see it, yeah.
I think Darn just kind of looks out across the water and just infuriatingly heroic.
You know, he actually scarred his mother's face when he left. She grabbed him, and in a panic, he breathed acid on her, ruining one of her eyes, actually.
That doesn't surprise me. He was not one to wield that power, but he wouldn't let anything stop him from what he wanted.
It's funny because most of us can't even breathe acid like him. A few of us could. I know Taika could do it. Gertrude could mostly just dribble acid. She could never full on breathe it. Neither Anemone or myself could do it. But I'm fine with that, honestly. The way that it can ruin your complexion just shakes her head. And the less I have to look like that bastard, the better. For as much as I hate my mother, I'm quite thankful that I took mostly after her. How are you, by the way, Darren? I should have, I'm talking so much about myself, but this conversations are a two-way street after all.
No, I'm just remembering what our last the few times we had conversations.
I mean, the last time we properly met outside of Otherwise Black Rain was when we were in court in Siltanok. When Oryx was being lawyer, his ace attorney self that he was.
He truly was the ace of attorneys, wasn't he?
He truly was. It helps that he was completely right. She just stares at the camera. About the accusations he pointed at me.
I mean...
God damn it.
I'm doing okay.
If it makes you feel any better, I actually was able to get in contact with a barkeep in Beauvetement. He actually... Well, he didn't have enough time to leave a letter, but from the correspondence I was able to get from him, apparently the gangs of Collier have torn themselves apart since House left. Throne, sorry. Why am I... It's because of the fucking all the House MD memes I keep seeing on Twitter. Throne, yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. Before I left for Cordis, and all of that, one of the roles of the Collared Heart was keeping the peace between the gangs. Something I had aspired to be, but
from what I hear, he actually killed the other leaders.
Yeah. Did I know that?
No.
Was this on his way out?
This was on his way out, yeah. Apparently on his way out, he killed the leaders of the other gangs. And Yeah, the criminal underground of Bo Vetment's been turned upon its head, because now there isn't really a leader, so to speak.
The next best case for the Hallowed Hearts is Barkeep.
Maybe you could do it once everything's all said and done.
Dara just kind of looks at
She's giving like a smarmy smile. Layla's giving you a smarmy smile as if like she's not being serious at all.
I was about to say, like, do we want to have an open war, like, violence in the streets in Bo Vetment?
I mean, it might be fun.
Once this is all over, I do.
You could accidentally let a few of the stuffy nobles get caught in the crossfire. You know, it's funny actually. When I was doing research into you all for the dossiers I collected, I actually learned about the origins of your gangs. Do you know how the formation of the gangs came about? Give me a history check, Dairon.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, out of character, do I?
No, you don't. Well, maybe Dara might, but... So, you remember Barkeep telling you that the gangs were formed by assassins that originally operated directly under the royal family of Bo Vetment? But you don't know anything else. Apparently, he was going to tell you the truth once he would have fully graduated into a senior member of the group, the gang. But
I never got far enough to know the truth, but I knew a little bit.
Apparently, and it's funny, it actually links with Akra and his family. The original gangs were monks that followed the way of shadow. They would weave through the darkness and almost manipulate it to sneak and teleport and strike. Akra, or rather Aster, before he had changed his name, fought with the person who was basically the strongest member of the monastic order. When he beats her, Etienne, her name was, she called for a restructuring of the group. It wasn't because of that what made the gangs. It was the reaction, apparently, to her desire for reformations that led to three fracturing factions. Apparently the Coloured Hearts were considered how would I describe it? They were the original group, and the other two groups were the splinters.
That doesn't quite shock me.
Apparently, senior members of the gang will get picked to effectively become... How would I describe it? They would be then trained in these martial arts to continue the lineage of that. So while they still might not necessarily follow a monastic order, they would still be taught the martial arts of the old days, I guess you could say. And to my knowledge, Throne was one of the best practitioners of it in a long time. So, I would be careful when you inevitably cross paths with him in combat. You've fought alongside Rue enough to know how monks should fight, so hopefully that should be okay, but I would keep that in mind when you do fight him.
I appreciate the warning.
It's no problem. Right now, we're currently on the same side, so having you die would be unfortunate.
It would be less than ideal.
Getting too forward there. You don't know me that well.
Well, hopefully we can chat more with less knives out.
I've already said to Guy and all them that I'm willing to turn myself in and do jail time, for the work that I did in the cult within Eben's Wing.
I don't think you were within the cult we're currently fighting. So I think
I mean, Eben's Wing was basically a cult.
It was.
People were referring to Eben as him with a capital H. It was really embarrassing, but some of the more brainwashed members didn't like when you didn't refer to him with reverence. Him with a lowercase h. Because fuck him. I really hope that wherever he is, it's, he suffers.
Does Dairon know that based on what happened, it's probable that, he's not even in existence anymore?
No. All you know is, at least when it came to the other glowing souls of light that exited Kuro/Eben's corpse, his was the only one that didn't fly away, and instead just broke apart into nothingness. So it's possible that, he is effectively, ceased to exist. You can infer, but yeah.
I think I'll say that, if it helps, he probably ceased to be.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I was hoping when I die, that I'd find him and be able to kill him again.
Where's the Doom Guy music?
Honestly, though, it was weird. We went to the land of the dead. It was the whole thing.
Well, for now, though, I still have things I need to do. I need to send a letter, actually, to Anemone, and gives me an excuse to liaise with Hayato.
Oh.
Tell them I say hello. What they're calling it now?
I mean, it's better than just saying, here's the status report. By the way, Torrent from Pahola actually sent a letter because he was worried about you guys.
Torrent's currently missing, right?
No, he's just stuck in Pahola and able to help.
Didn't they say that Torrent was missing? I thought that was the case.
No. If I ever said that or implied so, it's not. The only people who are actively MIAs, Tora, Oriana,
not Torrent. I'm sorry.
Cammy. To be fair, it's my fault for giving them TOR in their names. But yeah.
Dairon would have reacted more strongly if it was Tora.
No.
Sorry.
Torrent's a cool dude.
Yes, but Dairon and Tora have a shared history.
But yeah, she says, though, he actually left a letter for you guys.
Oh.
But that's for... I mean, you can read that whenever. For now, though, I have to go.
Oh.
I should go.
I should go. I just walked away. You didn't even say anything. Just, the worst thing would be if you just walked away.
Okay, Commander Shepard.
I'm bored now. And just walks away. Be very autistic of her.
Oh god, it would be hilarious. I just, as she leaves, I just go, let me know when you want to get coffee or something.
I don't like coffee.
Huh?
I don't drink coffee.
You know what I mean.
Just rolls her eyes at you and then continues walking. And so, as after you all finish your conversations, I'm going to call this a session.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it.
Oh, this one was a boring one. No action.
Get the Oonga Boonga out of your brain, bro.
Thank you, Kaida. This was a good session.
Thanks, Kato.
I wanted a winding down after like back to back, like boss fight after boss fight, really. Because
a lot of intensity there for a while.
There's going to be some boss fights coming up anyway. More fun action.
Yeah. I'll get to use all my Pokemon. Oh, I'll have to make a character sheet for the Onyx Hound.
Oh yeah. One sec. Yeah. I hope you had fun. I know I did. Millie, you
Yeah, it was
still
pretty
here?
fun.
Oh. Because I was going to ask him, is the stream still going? We can't say racial slurs yet, guys.
Since when has that stopped us in the past?
True.
Okay, it would help if I turn my mic back on.
Have you been saying shit this whole time?
Maybe. I'm not 100% sure how much I've been saying, but certainly...
Mills had a conversation with himself
incredible.
this whole time.
That's amazing.
Incredible.
I think I've only been saying stuff since Kato said the session was over.
Okay.
But yes, thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed. In terms of future stuff, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, as always. Please do give us a follow here on Twitch and all that YouTube stuff.
Like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and please press that bell icon.
And otherwise, hopefully we'll see you on Tuesday. Good night.
Later.
Night.